Our mayor of the wonderful city of Chicago testified before the United Nations on November 7th on Trump immigration raids and snap cuts. And so our fantastic mayor testified Friday before the United Nations Human Rights Council. Now, hey, great job. But listen, United Nations, they don't have a real good track record of following through and preventing war and everything else in between. It's just a big old fancy organization where everybody meets up, but they got that mean girl energy. I know that's terrible. It's like, well, gee, Kit, why do we have the United Nations around? To make us theoretically feel good that the world is uniting when in fact it is not. Mayor Brandon Johnson testified Friday before the United Nations Human Rights Council, calling on the global body to investigate what he described as human rights violations tied to federal immigration raids and cuts to food aid under President Donald Trump's administration. Johnson joined municipal officials from several U.S. cities, including Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love, Los Angeles, the city of angels, and New York City, the city of the second-tier pizza. Sorry, Due Dissidents. Sorry, Larry Sharp. Sorry, Mike. Sorry, Jose. I love you guys, but you know Chicago South's got the best pizza. During an event hosted by the ACLU, the Center for Constitutional Rights and Human Rights First, the group detailed what they said were abusive immigration enforcement practices and the end of food assistance programs during the ongoing government shutdown. In his virtual remarks, Johnson accused federal agents of targeting Chicago residents through violent raids and describing the incidents involving tear gas, chokeholds, and detention of children. In Chicago, we live as a consequence of the moral failure every day. Families torn apart by immigration raids that have targeted daycare teachers, rideshare drivers, restaurant cooks, honest, hardworking, law-abiding people who contribute to the soul of Chicago, who literally make our city run. To which I have to say, again, when this city decided to take up the mantle of becoming a sanctuary city, the plan was that there was no plan, and there was an assumption that Biden, and in turn by proxy, Kamala, was going to win the 2024 election cycle. I hate to be the repeater on this, but my goodness, there was a lot of people thinking that the Democrats had it in the bag in the 2024 election cycle. So much arrogance, so much confidence, none of it earned, and in turn, that's where we're at right now. 8 years of failed decisions. That's why we're seeing these entire raids taking place. And before anyone else says what's happening is unprecedented, earlier this year in February, Trump was conducting those raids. He ordered ICE to do that. You had Dr. Phil joining in. How do you know me? Continuing on, he also went on to criticize the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, SNAPs, that has also been denied. As someone with firsthand experience, I can tell you how humiliating it is when you open the refrigerator and you have nothing to eat. In the wealthiest country of the world, there is no reason why our federal government should allow hundreds of thousands of Chicagoans to go hungry. So he's asking what? The United Nations to be involved, to step up? I want to pull this up here.
Administration has failed to meet even the most basic expectations of transparency and accountability before this council. This administration seeks to evade scrutiny for its violations of human rights, just as it has sought to evade accountability for its actions in cities like mine. This refusal to engage in good faith with international mechanisms for accountability and oversight is a moral failure. Here in Chicago, we are taking concrete steps through executive orders, local policy reforms, and community organizing to ensure that our city protects all of our people. I invite the UN's independent experts to visit Chicago to witness both our challenges and our progress firsthand.
Okay, first of all, Mr. Mayor, right now, the state of Illinois, most importantly, the city of Chicago, is $1.1 billion in the hole. Like your tax plan is right now facing some confrontation in City Hall, and there are many Chicagoans who are afraid of the overall bill that we'll have to pay. How much of this burden will be put upon regular citizens who are struggling as it is? You're calling it a success. You're saying that the crime is low. It's not the first time poll numbers have been wrong or been massaged in the wrong way, no pun intended. But going into 2026, those numbers might be drastically different. There could be an uptick in crime because the city is so broke right now. And in turn, I don't know, if people start losing their homes, jobs, you don't know what desperation can do to a person. especially as this city is becoming very unaffordable to live in. So you want to talk about success when United Nations officials do, if they ever do show up with their notepads and paper. And hold on, before, because I'm actually going to replay this video. I just got to get this off my chest here. I did 2 tours in Iraq back in the day. My first tour was in the Green Zone in Baghdad, okay? One time when we were doing site security, United Nations was there, or at least a detachment of UN security forces was there. We're doing site security. There was never a day I didn't see those guys either asleep in their vehicles, asleep outside, or their body armor not worn correctly. When I say when the UN, if they ever choose to show up, they're not going to do anything. They're going to look around. Okay, we'll put this in. We'll put our best man on the job. Meanwhile, the best man on the job is right now somewhere sleeping in an office with piles of paper all around him. What do you expect him to do? What do you expect the UN to do if they come here with their notepads and paper? Their little pens, and they're writing everything down. Chicago's got its own fair share of problems. They might be asking you, hey, Mayor Brandon Johnson, how come the city's $1.1 billion in the hole? Just throwing it out there. Just throwing it out there, folks.
This administration seeks to evade scrutiny for its violations of human rights, just as it has sought to evade accountability for its actions in cities like mine. This refusal to engage in good faith with international mechanisms for accountability and oversight is a moral failure. Here in Chicago, we are taking concrete steps through executive orders, local policy reforms, and community organizing to ensure that our city protects all of our people. I invite the UN's independent experts to visit Chicago to witness both our challenges and our progress firsthand. And I urge the Human Rights Council to consider additional measures of accountability, including a special session to examine the worsening human rights crisis in the United States. The people of Chicago and of this nation deserve a government that honors their dignity, not one that diminishes it. We are here because the federal government under the Trump administration.
Okay, great. Now, here's the thing. Throwing this out here. Let's look at what some of these orders that Mayor Brandon Johnson has been trying to do. Like, again, they're using lawfare and, the legal process in the federal court systems to hold ICE accountable. And let's be clear here. The actions of ICE are downright despicable. I don't really like how everything is getting out of hand here. And we will be talking about everything exploding very soon, because it looks like people's emotions are getting the better of them. And everything is going to explode, where Chicago could very well become not only a political war zone in the 2027 election cycle, but literally in the streets. There is a chance for an immediate sit-down between Trump, Pritzker, and Mayor Brandon Johnson. There's still time. It's still good. It's still good. I feel like I'm going to be the only person still hoping that there's going to be a sit-down, some diplomatic action and talk between our leaders, so that there's still hope. Remember that scene where Homer is chasing after that wonderful barbecue pig? It's got a little water in it. It's still good. It's still good. It's got a little dirt in it. It's still good. It's still good. It's a little airborne. It's still good. It's still good. But sadly, I think that window's closing. Maybe there could be peace. But if you're expecting the UN to raise up and stand tall, clearly you're watching Hollywood or reading too many comic books and video games to expect the UN to do what you see in fiction instead of what they do in real life. I want to play this. This is from Flip Chicago Red.
You cannot make this up.
You got Brandon Johnson calling on the UN to come investigate Chicago and what President Trump is doing with the illegal immigration. When you got black women calling on Trump to come arrest Brandon Johnson and his 6.6 approval rating.
To lock him up.
They're wrong here. Not 6.6, it's 5% now.
You got black women calling on Trump to come arrest Brandon Johnson and his 6.6 approval rating.
To lock him up. Them people not finna get into this. You're gonna have to take this L on your own, Brandon Johnson.
You think they're going to give up 13.5 to to $15 billion a year from the United States of America to come save you, Brandon Johnson.
You stole too fast, too soon.
It's Rico time. Trump!
Testifying before the UN. What are you expecting for? UN peacekeeping forces to come into America? Just a side note, the United States gives money to the United Nations. I know. You think they're going to really give up, that little cushy little paycheck to go to Chicago? As much as I think my city is great, and yes, there is potential for Chicago to be great, they're not coming here. They're not going to do it. The UN peacekeeping force, UN observers are not going to waltz on over here to Chicago. The only thing they're going to do is probably come on by, eat some food, take some notes, go home, and go to sleep. Sounds like a sound plan. Mark my words. The actions of this mayor, not only is it going to cost him heavily for this election cycle, I'll be surprised if he would even consider throwing his hat in the ring to be reelected in 2027. 2026 is going to be a major testing ground and battlefield for both the Democrat Party and Republican Party. And Chicago will be one of those battle cities, not only politically, but it looks like it's going to be happening in real life. This mayor is asking for the UN. He's running out of options here. The only option is a sit down. That's the only option left before things become too bad, too violent, and reach the point of no return. Thank goodness it's the cold winter months where people can still somewhat be inside. But as we have all seen, once spring and summer come around, it's hot time in the city. There is no plan.